Hey, 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 it is the Texas Porch, Texas Talk with a touch of sports. I am JP Heath. That's Josh Havard. You can follow us on Twitter, Mr. Texas JP, J Havard 5069. I don't know what is your Twitter handle. I ask you this every 20 episodes.
I think it's Jay Havard 5500, but don't
Okay.
worry about looking. I think the only things that are posted are probably retweets of this. So if you're here, then you already got that.
Yeah, it's kind of meta, but follow Josh for retweets of me. And I'm on Instagram as well, Mr. Texas JP for the kids in the audience. TikTok coming? Who knows? A lot to get to on today's extravaganza. The Texas Rangers, I don't know if you knew, are in the World Series. We'll talk about that. A Bond farewell to Dusty Baker. He is retiring, going off into the sunset. And Mavs, Spurs, and Rockets all getting underway across the Texas NBA landscape. My, oh, my. And then we will still come back. We will have Today in Texas Border History. We'll be getting back to that. I like the regular flow of this, getting back. For those that are kind of new, we gained a lot of new streamers over our Rangers and Astros instant reactions, but I'm liking the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday mix. That's generally what we've done here the last few weeks. And then Josh is totally bailing on me. You just never support this podcast. Rangers getting the World Series first time in 12 years, and you're not even going to do instant reaction shows with me. I got to slum it with other folks or go solo. Golly, man, what have you ever done for me?
Yeah, I've got something planned for every single night after the rain. It just happened to occur that way. 10:30 on Friday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those are busy nights for me. So just every night. Not really, but Friday nights. Yeah, we know Friday nights aren't good for me.
Are you sad still, Josh? No, did you in a better headspace now? Because my happiness lasted a good 2 days still on Sports Cloud 9, on Live Cloud 9. Am I centered there? We good? Okay, got to get this pretty shaved mug and shaved head. But how are you feeling now? Because I am still, drop something. I am still elated here. How are you personally? How are you? I know you're personally fine, but how are you doing?
No, I'm good. This is going to sound like cocky Astros fan, but it makes it a whole lot easier when you win one. When the next year when you come up a little bit short, so uh, it's tougher when you go like you've been now. Which I'm not saying I'm rooting for the Rangers, but for your sake, if the Rangers win, I'll be very happy for you. But after
Thank you.
when you're watching a team for however many years we've watched them, 40 years or whatever, and they've never won one, then you're like, is it ever going to happen? But if they win one, that takes a little bit of the edge off whenever you get out of that moment. Like, yeah, I'm a little bit spoiled now with the Astros, so um, I'm good with it. I'm totally good with it, and I'll keep on telling myself that it's Rocket season. I have that great thing to look forward to, so it's all good, and I am ready to watch the World Series. But I won't be watching live Friday night because I'll be at a football game.
Some tongue in cheek there with your Rockets caption there and your Rockets thoughts there. So get right into it. Whoop. Wrong. No Altuve on this one. So get right to it. The Texas Rangers, I don't know if you heard, they are going to the World Series. And as I just said, the sports giddiness could not be any higher. I can't read enough. I can't watch enough. I can't listen to enough about my little Red Shoe Rangers, my little team that used to play that turd on the turnpike, and then going over and playing for 25 years where I saw a bulk of my games with all the memories. And even, I'm not lying to you, even thinking about those times, it makes me happy now thinking about those times with family members no longer with us, and just the friends, and even you and me shared a boomstick in our very last game there in a perfectly fine ballpark. But the, I guess, capitalistic ventures of one ownership group said, hey, let's build a brand new ballpark when there's a perfectly fine one. I'm giving you kind of an overview of the last few years. And they build it, and thank goodness they didn't need it. That's what I tell everybody. They didn't need it, but I'm glad they got it with that AC. And no one thought this was happy this year after 6 consecutive losing seasons. 2 years ago, losing 100 games before last year in the free agents frenzy that they went in and got their middle infield of Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. And then before this year, making the big bucks on the pitching side and throwing those big bucks out there to Jacob deGrom. Didn't work out so well because he's not obviously available until late next season, if at that. But anyway, that's a long scenic route to tell you. This was not expected. If any, that's a good litmus test, as we like to weed out bandwagoners. As got a few reactions to that, talking about the why a win like this is so special. Getting to a World Series, from my point of view, is the real ones. No, and I do appreciate your support in all this, because it was the same conundrum I was in when, and maybe that reign is still going, but when the Astros were going in, wanted happiness for those closest to me, but not so much that team. So anyway, surrender that, and that's a different story. But as far as this series itself, it's no surprise that big game Nate Eovaldi gets the nod. He'll be on regular rest in game 1. He goes against the Diamondbacks' best pitcher in Zach Gallen. We'll get more in the specific matchups coming up here in just a matter of moments, but had to play this courtesy of MLB and the Rangers website and app. What a time this is. We can just play stuff off an app. Here is Bruce Bochy getting ready for another World Series for him, I think.
To dream about. This is what you train for. It's what you sacrifice. It's what you play for. To have the ability to play on the biggest stage in baseball. And you have to savor it, be honored by it. It doesn't happen a lot. It's not easy to get here. So enjoy it. And so that's what I try to take away from it. Probably got better as I got a little older, because it's intense out there. But still, you just have to appreciate where you're at, and that's what I try to take in myself. I'll go with game 1. Nate Eovaldi will start game 1. You look at Monty's work. It makes sense to give him the added rest. That's all. And Nate's had plenty of rest. He's ready to go. 2 best teams are here right now, so that's how I look at it. I don't buy in. It has to be an East Coast team. To me, that has nothing to do with it. You want the teams that are playing the best at this time, and the 2 best teams, and that's what we have right now. As far as
that's definitely true. Hitting that on the end, I wanted to have a whole other segment on that, but that was Bruce Bochy, courtesy of the Rangers site. The 2 best teams are in it, and he said Eovaldi's going game 1. Jordan Montgomery gets the nod in game 2, but the 2 teams are so similar. Their playoff runs, they both were wild card teams. Texas swept Tampa Bay on the road. Arizona swept Milwaukee. Texas swept a 100-win team, Baltimore, the next round. Of course, the Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers. Not many people were crying about that. And they each won on the road in their respective LCS in a game 7. Arizona won 3 of 4 in the regular season from the Rangers. Texas blew 2 late inning leads in one of those games in Phoenix. It was one of those 37 times this year, Josh, where I said, I'm done. I can't do this with this bullpen. See the conversation from last show about having an historically bad bullpen. But hopefully it's the end of the JP curse. I was at the last Rangers World Series win. It was October. October 24th. Yeah, today's the 26th, so it was the 24th. The Mike Napoli game in game 5 of the 2011 World Series. Josh, you never know when you do, because you're in it every freaking year. You were until this year, until the new Texas baseball kings on the block came, right? But I don't see any Diamondbacks gear in your backdrop or any Diamondbacks hat. So I'll take that. At least you're not totally rooting against it. But come on, let's be honest. Let's go to the Texas Porch Court and put the jury. I could see how you could root against the fine establishment up there in Arlington.
First off, listening to Bruce Bochy, I know I've heard him plenty of times before, but a little bit of Sam Elliott in that voice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I've heard that comparison to him before.
I figured it wasn't an original thought. I just like as I was listening, I was like, I could see him in a Western like talking about something. Anyway, I totally ditched your point there, but yeah, the Arizona Diamondback stuff is on the way. Couldn't quite get it here in time for this. No, not really. My rooting, I touched on a little bit earlier. My rooting interest, like I can't make myself root for the Rangers. Like I could have a few years ago when they didn't just destroy my Astros in Game 7. So I will be slightly going for the Diamondbacks. It's kind of like when I go against God. I don't want to go that far because I said it's kind of like the Eagles, but the Eagles runs much deeper than the Rangers. Like I would not be disappointed if the Rangers won the series, and I'd be happy for you. Plenty of people with the Rangers, so I'm saying that I'm gonna go for the Diamondbacks slightly. And if the Rangers win, I'll be happy. That's as honest as I can be because I can't sit there and say, "Yeah, I'm going for the Rangers. Go Rangers!" And I'm just not. I can't bring myself to do it. The Diamondbacks have the Astros pitching coach who was phenomenal with them. So I would say win one for him, but they've won one for him. So you can't really go that route. So just a long-winded way of saying, I just hope everybody plays hard and it's a good series. But I legitimately would like a 7-game series. So I have more baseball to watch, like regardless who wins. I prefer not to have this thing over by Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday night whenever somebody's sweeping. So it should be. I've heard all the talk about, oh, it's not the big time teams, it's not the Yankees, it's not even the Astros or whatever, and it's not going to be as well rated. But I'm just really, who cares? If you're a Ranger fan, do you really care if
Oh my gosh,
some Yankee fan is watching? Like, enjoy it, go have fun. I mean, it's about y'all. It's not about all those other teams. So yeah, you're going to hear all kinds of who's going to watch this, but who cares if the owners get a little bit of extra TV money or whatever? I mean, they've got plenty of it to go around.
No, that's a good another rant. As I caught myself in that loop, it's the same rant. Oh, you don't have the big. Nobody cares about it, and of course, that's what you've heard from generic Houston sports talk radio host calling it. I know it's real when I hear it, and then I have former roomie Marcus text me last night. Congrats to the South Oklahoma Rangers. It's like, well, good. I mean, the indoctrination of the Houston media and the fanboys that they are is getting out there anyway. Separate rant, but akin to, hey, nobody's watching, nobody cares, is what we're guilty of, and we were guilty of last night watching the Sam Houston UTEP game. That's how sicko we are. Last night texting about the 47 people that were on each side, that it doesn't matter who's at a game. It doesn't matter. But if your team is there, that's what matters. And soak that up. A couple other things, because I do want to pay great respect to Dusty retiring. And I know you've got some thoughts. I don't know if you're kicking him out the door coming here in a second, but rookies will play early and often in this series. Corbin Carroll's going to win the National League Rookie of the Year. Josh Young, I think, probably he would have been a close second to Gunnar Henderson of Baltimore for the AL Rookie of the Year award. But Evan Carter is going to win the Rookie of the Year award next year if he continues to play anywhere close to the way he did down the stretch here. But Jeff Bannister, former Rangers skipper, he is in the dugout with the Diamondbacks. And you mentioned Brett Strom. There's another loose tie there, a Texas connection. The former Astros pitching coach, obviously he knows what he's doing. But this is, remember when Arizona had that crazy stretch? What were they, 23 games below 500? They had a 23-game stretch where they were like 4-19, I think it was. So both have had really bad stretches, but it's no surprise. The two best baseball teams now going on this planet are playing in the World Series. Do you have a prediction, Joshua? We don't have any kind of drum roll here. I know you just said 7. So do we have a Harvard/Harvard prediction here?
I'm hoping for 7. I don't necessarily think it's going to make it 7.
Well, who's going to win though?
I think the Rangers are going to win, and I think it'll be. They're just the offense is going so good right now. I'm tempted to say 5, but I think it would be safer and go 6. Um, this is where the caveat of I was having a conversation at my work yesterday. I'm like, the Rangers bullpen has the ability to fall apart, but Bochy's managed it so well. Like using not the guys, I still think Chapman could cost y'all a game somewhere because he keeps on going to him in the 8th, and it's a ticking time bomb. Leclerc's been really good. I don't see him falling apart. So I think the Rangers in 6, but there's also that possibility that at some point in the series you're like, man, that Ranger bullpen came back to bite him again, which would be a fitting way considering how bad they've been all year. But Bochy's done such a good job with it. My prediction is he's going to be able to push the right buttons, putting starters in those relief roles to get them through. And I think their lineup's just a ton better than the Diamondbacks. The Astros played the Diamondbacks the last series of the year. The Diamondbacks needed the first 2 wins, which they didn't get. And the Diamondbacks scored 1 run over 2 games, I think. And last game didn't matter because everything was locked up for them. But I just think the Rangers lineup is so much better that's going to mask any other flaws that are going against them, because the Diamondbacks, Gallen, Kelly, those are 2 really good pitchers that are going. But especially if the Rangers can stay hot with their lineup, I think the advantage is there.
Yeah, Marte's been really hot too. That comes to mind. You mentioned Kelly. They have, again, more similarities. 2 really great frontline pitchers, but the Rangers have more talent. They have a better defense. Now, they're one of the best defenses in baseball. But yeah, I say Ranger. Here's what I say. I'd be floored if the series was decided in 4 or 5 games. Either way, in through the nose, out through the mouth. I truly believe the Texas Rangers. You sitting down?
I'm sitting down.
I truly believe. I gave you my legitimate opinion last series. I said the Astros in 6. I truly believe that. There's no airs put on here. I truly believe. You know me, I'm one to look at the most negative in sports, but the most positive. I'm very optimistic in life. But I truly believe the Texas Rangers will win the World Series in 6 games. Now, they still have to play it. They still have to go out and play it.
Do they?
But that's what I'm known for, my Texas predictions all across the state. Need to keep better track of those. But, yeah.
So we officially both agree Rangers in 6. We can't have that. I'm going to change mine to Rangers in 5.
Thank you. You're using my mental trick. All right. Plenty of Rangers talk later. We'll be on for at least one of us will. I don't know. The one who cares about the pod will be on to discuss Rangers post-game reaction. I might filter in some special guests as well, too. Stick it, Havard. Also, adios, Dusty Baker. What a run it has been. Man. He announces, I think at the appropriate time, to not take any steam. He did not pull an A-Rod like you thought would be sorry of him to do. I think if I'm remembering what you said the other night. But Dusty, it's no surprise as word started trickling in that post-game reaction pod we did to Game 7. He is retiring. And as far as what I saw, at least an hour or so ago, the Astros have not announced a replacement yet. That would have been a very quick announcement. But you got about a minute or so thoughts on Dusty, because we got some NBA stuff too. And we'll obviously pay him his due later on when they announce a new skipper.
Yeah. For those listening live, then they've got the press conference in 25 minutes. I know most people will be on the podcast and it'll be past that point. So I don't think they're going to
ask for Dust. I mean, the press conference for Dusty, not the press conference for Espada, whoever, right?
Right. It's a press conference for Dusty. And I assume they're not going to announce a replacement at the time. Maybe they will, but I assume there's going to be some kind of talking, research and stuff about it. But for the, I think I've said Espada be a good guy. We can speculate on that later. But Dusty, I brought that up the last time we were talking, and as much as he frustrated a whole lot of people sometimes with his decisions, I think he was easily the right person for the job whenever it came across. And for everything that people say, I think he exceeded expectations because they went to they won the World Series. They were there in the ALCS 2 times. I mean, nobody else in the league did that, whether you want to say it's all players or whatever. And he came in there, took the slings and arrows that he didn't deserve, got the job done as pretty well. So, and I think it's probably the right time for him to step away. I know he's getting a little bit older. Just let somebody maybe younger get in there and just handle the everyday thing. So, no, great. I don't have anything bad to say about Dusty Baker and what he did. He brought them, as you would say, their legitimate title, but I don't. I think that thing could have fallen apart pretty easily without a manager like him that knew what he was doing. So he's got to get all kinds of credit because it would have been easy to get some manager with much less experience, somebody that hadn't been around, to come in there and not handle it the way he did. I'm not going to say it's the right way because everybody's always going to say, well, he's defending these guys. Well, what's he supposed to do? He's their manager. So he's a baseball guy, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He will be in the Hall of Fame after this. I'm pretty confident as a manager. So,
yeah.
Great for him. Go enjoy life on out on the West Coast in the Sacramento area. I've heard he's going to possibly be in baseball somewhere. I can't imagine it being with the Astros because I've heard the rumors he kind of clashes with the GM. So I can't imagine them putting him in a front office with the GM that he doesn't really like. So hopefully he'll get something out there and continue to be successful wherever he's doing.
Obviously, I don't know him, but I know people that know him. From the media side, he could not be more fair. Like, he's old school, and the warmth he has from people I really trust. From it's a very weird brag, but somebody I know really well played for Dusty Baker and said, "Man, catch up with him." Yeah, he's talked to him a few times. They have both busy lives, but this player, Paul Yanish of the Al's fame, played for him in Cincinnati for a few years, and they'll check in, and that is genuine. So hat tip from this guy as he treats everybody the right way from people I trust. And Nate is the media guy that Nate has dealt with him on a number of occasions and done some feature stories on him for Fox 26 in Houston. So yeah, just for your sake again, we could talk about that though. As there'll be, you'd think it'd be a Spada coming in the next step, making that big. It's a big step over, a few feet over to that top perch on the dugout step. All right, Joshua. I don't know if you knew this, but the NBA has started. Who knew? I am being totally, again, like I said a few minutes ago, I support the Mavs. I don't mind saying there's not the vitriol between Mavs Spurs anymore, Mavs Rockets. I don't know. I can't speak for you, Rockets Spurs, or any Spurs fans out there against the Rockets or the Mavs. I didn't know they were starting until a day before. Obviously, that might have changed if the Rangers and Astros weren't just soaking up like a sponge all of our sports attention. And the day job obviously commands a lot of my time, but it was news to me. I knew it was around that time, but I don't know. Obviously, it's on me, but I think some of that has to be on the league, right? Anyway, but I'll start, and I'm going to hand the baton to you in a second for a quick Rockets recap because they got the doors blown off them in their opener. But I watched a lot of Mavs Spurs, even got really tired late, couldn't sleep, and watched the very end of Luka's ridiculous turnaround. But the rightful headline in that one was Victor Wembanyama making his much heralded and much hyped, really, is the correct word, NBA debut. And he's a freak. He hit his first two. I need to look up a final stat line for him because the first two buckets that he hit, I was like, this guy is going to be a problem for years and years and years. And he still might, but the Mavericks at least did not end up on the NBA hype machine kind of car wash where ESPN talking heads would talk about Wemby being the next Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and LeBron James in one. And he had a solid debut, 15 points. He hit 3 threes in 5 attempts. But those first 2 threes he hit, step-back threes from a 7'4", 7'5" guy by some reports, were amazing. It's going to be really good. I was duped into the NBA League Pass on their app, so I'm stuck with it. I'm out my $100, but it's probably a good investment. As much as I'm on the road during basketball season, I'm going to watch a lot of the Spurs, and they could be a fun team. They've got some good pieces in there. Johnson led them with 17 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. But as always with the Mavs, it comes down to Luka, and that guy does not get in any kind of hurry in a lot of ways. One of many triple doubles this year. 33 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists, and that ridiculous fadeaway towards the end. Derek Lively, man, he's fun. He was the better rookie, really, of the two between him and Wemby. He had a double-double. Grant Williams, a great offseason acquisition for the Mavs. He had 17 points and 6 rebounds. He's going to provide a lot of PP and vinegar in there and be a really good defender, which is what they need. The Mavs got bigger. I know we didn't have a big blockbuster NBA preview like we have in years past, but hey, shut up, get your own pod if you want to do something like that. But I was really encouraged. I guess Vassell actually led them in scoring. He had 23 points. Now that I see that. Is that right? They couldn't have had that many. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. Vassell had 23 points. They had 7 guys in double figures, did the Spurs. So here am I doubting an NBA box score. But any thoughts? I know you didn't see much of Mavs and Spurs, but the Rockets pulling a Rockets, and they got waylaid out in Orlando. Your preseason NBA pick to win the East, apparently Orlando, huh?
Man, I didn't get to watch much of the Rockets last night. I actually watched most of the Mavericks and Spurs.
Okay.
I had my plan was to get here and watch the Rockets, be here for the whole game, and plan got thrown out the window about 15 minutes before game time when I had to help out with something else, which fine. In retrospect, it was totally good to miss that game. I walked in the door, the Rockets were down by 1 in the middle of the 3rd quarter, and Spring, my daughter, sitting here, is, hey, look, the Rockets are right there. And she's doing her homework, and she looks up 10 minutes later, and they're down by 17. She's like, oh, it looks like the Rockets are back to being normal. I'm like, yeah, thanks a lot, Spring. But no, I wasn't. I mean, they should be better. They've got a new coach. I'll tell you, the quarter and a half that I watched last night, they looked exactly like last year. And that's not good analysis because apparently after the game, they said, no, we've been playing a lot better than this. But it's exactly what I saw like 37 times last year when I watched the majority of parts of their games. Not that I watched as much as I do with the Astros, but I don't know. They should be better. I still think they're irrelevant to the point. I think they have 1 primetime game this year, which is amazing on an 82-game slate. And I'm sure it's just because they have to. But I couldn't even go into the roster constructions and all this stuff. I know they got rid of one guy that they should have gotten rid of. And so kind of addition by subtraction. But I don't think the Spurs are going to be all that good this year. But I think that the Rockets are definitely a distant third in terms of the Texas teams this season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Mavs are probably the best right now, and then the Spurs and Rockets there in the middle. And even the Mavs by NBA pundits weren't predict very high. But yeah, Derek Brooks, the big offseason acquisition, I say, trying to get my finger quotes up there. Fred VanVleet, they had 14, and Alperen Sengun, everybody's favorite household center, had 14 points and 8 rebounds for the Rockets in that loss. All right, Josh, you know what time it is. Time for this today and this week in Texas sports. Did you know that today we have some great Rangers birthdays? Mike Hargrove is 74 and Toby Hara is 75. Also celebrating a birthday on this date, Tony Casillas is 60. Didn't he have some East Texas connection, or like he played golf at Crown Colony one time? And I remember that somehow because I know Big Nasty had him on his, maybe that was it. Big Nasty had him on his show, and like they became golfing buddies, or so there was some connection there.
I vaguely seem to remember that, and it wouldn't be shocking. There is a great golf course in Lufkin here, so I don't. Yeah, it's. I totally remember something like that, but I could be confusing names. You said it too, but there was some former guy like that, and I think he was the one. Maybe I'll ask tomorrow if I can actually remember if there's some kind of tie. Just see if I get a blank look, or if he actually can say, "Oh yeah, that's it."
There was some, in my weird memory, I remember some kind of Tony Casillas and Big Nasty connection, Lufkin radio personality of personalities there. All right. Tomorrow, Texas sports in history. Marshall native George Foreman won the Olympic heavyweight gold medal after defeating Jonas Sepulveda of the Soviet Union in round 2 at the Mexico City Games. You've seen that famous picture. If this was a full production pod of him with the boxing gloves and the American flag in his hand there, really iconic picture. So that's tomorrow in 26. No, 26 is today. So that was today. I don't know what's going on, Josh. How about this? I was at this game. Tomorrow in Texas, Bart. You like the way it's going? Are you doing great?
This is just a well-oiled machine. So the first 2 birthdays, were those yesterday in Texas sports, or were they actually today?
They were today. And
okay.
I'm confused. I thought today was the 25th, but I see it's the 26th. So the birthdays and George Foreman happened today. But tomorrow, Emmitt Smith passed Walter Payton to become the NFL's all-time rushing leader. I was in the stands. The great Scott Garner got me tickets. We went and watched that one. You probably were you at that game too? Was that season ticket era or not?
I was not. My sister was there. They're playing Seattle, right?
Yeah, playing the Seahawks. I had my little Walkman there and listening to Brad Sham, Move Over Sweetness, Make a Place for Emmett. And then back then, I always had this eye for instability. I was wondering what if he lost like 6 yards on the next run and then broke it again? Would they recognize that as the run? Anyway, things I wonder.
It's funny you remember this. It wasn't this exact situation, but I remember years ago listening to a Cowboys broadcast when Emmett broke the 1,000-yard marker and immediately lost like 5 yards on the next carry and was stuck behind 1,000 for a few carries. And so they were breaking that down on a much less scale. But yeah, that would be amazing if, like, the iconic runs like the Ricky Williams run against the Aggies, like what happens if you lose yards and then you gain it again? Which one is the official one? So I like your line of thinking there.
I don't know. I ask too many questions in general, but I like funny, awkward situations as well. They just come naturally to me. But also, Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon, tomorrow in Texas sports history, made his NBA debut, 1984. I think he had a decent career. I think he turned out okay. He was okay.
If only we had a Hakeem. There I go. If only the Rockets had a Hakeem that was a rookie this season, then maybe they'd be in pretty good shape. But man, yeah, he's my all-time favorite. Like Jordan's got to be there, but Hakeem, I just grew up watching him be unreal on a court. What he could do, like I'll never forget him destroying David Robinson in a Western Conference Finals after he lost MVP. That's probably my best ones. Him and Shaquille. So yeah, Hakeem, he is the man.
For those audio, I'm just moving back. Like he moved back and forth like 16 times. I'm getting dizzy here. Anyway, we got to but also, I wanted to make an announcement. Hakeem, best NBA player that's ever played in Texas for a Texas team. That's not too bold, right? That's okay.
You're gonna annoy some Spurs Tim Duncan fans, but I agree with you.
I mean, this is Mavs, and I didn't tell you I had a dream about meeting Dirk last night. So neutral. If you brought some, like, let's say on the Oklahoma porch, they're arguing this. You bring somebody in, neutral observer, and say, okay, yeah, I think they would say, unless I'm just missing. And my boy Big E, been on. Weird to say, I've had Elvin Hayes. A lot of legwork you did on that one, having Elvin Hayes. The 3-minute interview I did with him a couple years ago, something like that. So, but he didn't have the acclaim really with the Rockets. He came to the Rockets right later in his career. He was more Bullets, but he had the U of H ties, of course. But I think you talk about guys. Anyway, that's a good other. Anyway, I'm throwing that out there. I got to pay the podcast man if we go too much over time. Rick Carlisle celebrating his 64th birthday. He's a jerk. He's a jerk. That's all we say about that.
I think I saw I saw he's getting a contract extension today.
Yeah, he's a good coach. I don't know, kind of a weird dude, but got a title for us. Anyway, but that's not what I'm concerned about, Joshua, as we wrap this one up here. I'm concerned about another title. We have some World Series pods coming up, post-game reaction, some very special guests to replace the very replaceable Joshua Harvard. That too big time to join us. Rangers get to the World Series. His Astros were rightfully dethroned. He can't take it. He's checking it out, going to the day job, making excuses. But I will try to have some special guest, or could be me, could just be me. But anyway, you've got lunch duty. But have a good one, man. Thanks for getting that nail out of your wife's tire. And we still have to tell the story about Josh knocking a woman down in an attic and why I have bed springs in the back of my truck that stubbornly refusing to move. And you will get that bed frame one day. I will win this battle. But thanks for joining us.
I'm looking forward to those. Let's just hope there's one person that's not a special guest, because then I'll probably have to quit.
Dave Raymond?
Nah, I mean,
TV guy.
It's the name that won't be spoken, but this could cause a rift in our friendship.
Oh, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Mitch. Oh.
Don't do it.
It could be. I don't know. But we'll see. All right, Josh. Thanks, man.
Okay, anytime.
Have a great rest of this day or night. God bless you. God bless Texas. We'll talk to you next time out here on the Texas Porch. Rangers in 6.
Rangers in, I said 5, right? Yeah, 5.